Oh my goodness, y'all can actually hear me now. I'm a goddamn genius. I'm a genius, chat. I did it. I'm the best at video games. By video games, I mean programs that stream video games. I actually didn't even look this up. I actually just found it. Okay, real quick. Filters, not gain, noise suppression. Might be a little bit better. YouTube chat, let me know if you can hear the sound of my voice. Sound! We are getting sound. We've done it. I talked for 30 fucking minutes without anyone hearing me. People jumped in and left. I feel so bad. I was like, say something if you can hear me. No one said anything. Well, they're probably just busy. I'm a fucking idiot. Oh my god, why do y'all put up with me? Holy shit. Oh my god. Holy hell do I feel dumb. Okay. So people can hear me now. This is good. This is a good thing. Okay. Okay, sorry, just making sure I sound okay. Yeah, so I might sound a little bit weird. Oh, we're seeing the concurrent viewers go up. We're seeing some gamers. Gamers inbound? Can I get a gamers inbound in chat? Can I get an 07 or an O slash if you are a new arrival? Okay. So the big thing. There was actually so there. I've already said all this and I'm so frustrated, but there was something that actually caused this stream to happen. I should probably switch over to main gameplay feed as well here. Whatever gameplay there is going to be during the stream. Welcome, gamers. Hell yeah, there we go. All right. So, there was an impetus for this stream. There was a progenitor, if you will. I'm actually gonna pop you guys out. Chat, you are getting popped out and put on my other monitor so I can look at. Okay, so I know I very infrequently browse Reddit. I would not call myself a Redditor by any means. Mainly because they are very bigoted generally, even in spaces where you wouldn't expect it. It's like, well, I can believe that there are cat girls, but I can't believe that gender is fake. But who knows? Anyway, there was a post on r/Final Fantasy 14 titled by user Claritic, titled "To hell with what you think is coming in Endwalker. What do you hope is coming in Endwalker?" And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is, well, I mean, there's several reasons. Not the least of which being, I am so sick and tired of people. Well, you know what? I'll just read the post. I'll read the beginnings of the post. There's too many people, or too many instances of people trying to read tea leaves to figure out what's coming, or trying to justify their pet theory. I'm bored of that. Let's go for broke and just throw down what we most want without stopping to think about how plausible it would be or how to pitch it to others. Fawn! Oh my god! It's Fawn. Hello, hello. A true legend has arrived in chat. So this is just a stream where we talk about what we want most in Endwalker. Fuck what's realistic. Fuck what's acceptable. Just what do we want most? And I'd like to start off with this by saying that the thing I want the most is for Bunny Boys not to be in it. That's just me. I'm not trying to be contrarian. After all the death threats, I don't want them. I'd rather them fix Viera and fix Rothgar first. That's the big one, or one of the big ones for me. I'll be really bummed if they add bunny boys and lion ladies. But I'll get over that if they do decide to add it. Um, Old Astro cards. That's an interesting one. That's a not uncommon desire though. Like that's a not uncommon desire is people saying they want like Stormblood Astro cards back. Fawn agrees. I don't expect people to stick around after me dropping that bombshell, but I will be repeating that sentiment throughout the stream. Uh, Vieira hairstyles. That's what I mean. Is I want them to fix Vieira and Hrothgar. I think I speak for everyone when I say that the frustration that people have isn't truly about them being gender locked, is that they feel incomplete. I think that if they had made it so that way, like, okay, there was a lot of frustration pretty much the instant that Vieira and Hrothgar got announced. There was excitement, but then they were like, oh yeah, they have unique heads, therefore they can't wear hats. And it's like, yeah, but you're the only ones that can do that though. Because if we try to do that, and people have, there's a mod that is out that just, it took, it took a little while, but they just retextured everything and it looks great. I've tried it and it looks absolutely fucking fantastic. Allegedly I've tried it. Allegedly. Like, it looks fantastic. Like hats on Vera look amazing. Using like the antiquated Welkin hat, it's like, oh my god. Like, it's just a glimpse into the timeline that we could have. The new cards are busy, but also boring for not much reward. I mean, the old ones were just fish for balance spread, but it felt more rewarding than just 3 seals than done in Divi. Yeah, to be honest, okay. I talked about this. Lots of mods, yes. I talked about this a little bit in the past, not on stream or not like publicly, but here's how I think they could fix Astro. I think instead of I think I think the 3 different sigils for divination is a good start, but I think so there's 3 different sigils for Astro. So what I think they could do is I think they could say, okay, with 3 different sigils, you get for divination, you get a DPS buff. If you have 3 moons, then everyone gets a regen. If you get 3 suns, everyone gets, or sorry, 3 suns, everyone gets a regen. 3 moons, everyone gets a baby lucid dreaming. If you get 3 stars, everyone gets a 2% damage down. And it's all for the same duration as a normal divination, but it allows you to spend your divination and use them more effectively. And that means if you want to play, if you want to play Astrologian the same way that you've been playing it, in Heaven's Word, in Shadowbringers, in Endwalker, you can still do that. But if you want the variation, say, oh, this is going to be a mechanic coming that people keep dying to, well, guess what? Here's 3 stars and everyone gets a damage down. You know what I mean? I think, I don't think the cards themselves are the problem. I think divination is the problem. And I think that's the way to fix it, personally. It's not about what you're doing, it's the it's not about the way you're doing it, it's about what it is you're actually doing. Because the variance doesn't come at the end, it comes at the beginning. Because if you get unlucky, like, all your tools are all about mitigating bad luck. And that's what people, when people say they want like a gambler class, that's like, yeah, but that would be really broken and like not in a good way. Because, I think it would have to be at least 2 of each symbol. Yeah, I agree. Or 2 of the same symbol. I agree 100%. So like, if you have, 2 stars and a moon, you get the damage down. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that would work out really well. Like, I think that would be just fantastic, because it allows you to use divination more reflexively. Damn it, YouTube. Oh no, Jade. What happened? But yeah, I don't think I think Astro is in a really good spot, which is why I understand why they're doing it, but like it's really weird that they decided to do what they're doing to Astro. Because I thought that Nocturnal Astro was probably the most fun to play. Like I have Astro on Nocturnal. Sound issues maybe? Oh no. Jade, oh no, can you hear me? Didn't tell me you were back streaming. Ah, I see. It's probably because this was like the fourth fucking time I streamed today, so it was probably a little confused. Um, it's probably like this bitch is just like she's had her chance. Just let her fucking die already. Let her croak. Just take her out back with a shotgun. Just put a fucking fistful of buckshot. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of classes could use that flavor. I think another big one for me is I don't want them to touch Red Mage basically at all. Like, yes, Red Mage is almost entirely dependent upon RNG, and yes, Red Mage is largely dependent upon like a lot of these other outside things in order to be viable. But I like that. I actually really like that. I like proc fishing. It's fun. I'm also a worldwide all-star, so like top 200. I'm top 100 for Memoria. I'm top 200 for Seed of Sacrifice. Or no, top 200 for fucking, oh my god, what's it called? Crown of the Immaculate. And I'm top 300 for Seed of Sacrifice. Like I'm pretty fucking decent as Red Mage. But there's a couple things that I want. Is I want there to be a Lucid Dreaming as part of their kit instead of having Lucid Dreaming being an extra ability that they can use. I'd like that to be on acceleration, preferably. I want an AoE finisher after you use 4 enchanted moulinettes. And so like something like Verflood or Verfreeze, I think would be really cool. And then and if you use the AoE version, it turns Impact into or not Impact, Scorch into a, actually yeah, it would turn probably Impact into a AoE thing. Red Mage being reliant on RNG is what separates it from other mages. Yeah, absolutely. It's the reason why I only play Red Mage. I don't really like the way that Black Mage plays. I used to, until I really got into Red Mage. I like the numbers appeal of Red Mage. If it wasn't tied to RNG, it would be broken. Yeah, if it could just do whatever it wanted whenever it wanted, it would be broken. And that's what I'm nervous about. Like, I'm really scared that they're going to do something to fuck with Red Mage. Because... And I had no reason to think that they're going to do it specifically to Red Mage. But Squeenix does like to improve for the sake of improvement sometimes. Not necessarily to actually fix what's wrong. They do like to fix what's wrong. But sometimes they like to say, oh, well, we don't like how this thing is happening, so we're going to change it. We don't like healer DPS, so we're going to nerf all healers. And it's just like... Summoner go burr. I'm not a big fan of Summoner either. I don't like pet classes. I really don't. It's a me problem. It's not a Summoner problem. Summoner by itself is fucking sick. Like, I see Summoners go nuts, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah, there's fucking Demi Phoenix. Oh, hell yeah, there's Demi Bahamut. Like, I absolutely love it. For me, it's just like... I had this problem ever since I started playing, like, vanilla WoW. Morgan Tempest Lupus, welcome. Good afternoon. I almost said welcome afternoon, can you tell? But I had this problem ever since playing, like, Burning Crusade. Was like, I would see hunters, and I'm like... How am I supposed to be this legendary adventurer saving the world when it's my fucking dog that's doing everything? Same thing with with Warlock. It's like yes, I'm being a badass by binding powers beyond my control, but I don't feel like a badass because I'm not really doing anything. It's like, go, Succubus! That's like saying that Pokemon trainers are badass. They're not. It's their Pokemon that's badass, right? At least that's the way that I feel about it. Yeah, my only issue with Red Mage is AoE feeling incomplete. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's the only problem. If Red Mage did that, I'd be fucking stoked. I don't think if it is a pet class, really. I just press buttons and ignore what the balance says. And just like that, every top tier raiding party, every world's first race is just They're sweating and they don't know why. The red mage for AoE is tied to other AoEs and I kind of hate it. Agreed. Played Summoner since ARR, but I'm lying when I say that I have my scares at some parts. Yeah. Like, it's just, ugh. I don't know. It's just not for me. I'm really glad other people like it. The thing is, a lot of other people really don't fucking like it. A lot of other people are like, why don't our abilities have overwrites? Why do we have to have a bunch of extra shit on our bar that doesn't change and isn't used until, 1 minute and 45 seconds into our 2-minute long rotation? I think the game is in a perfect position right now for everything to be fixed exactly the way it needs to be for Endwalker, so that way everyone is enjoying the game the best way they possibly can, aside from the people who would just complain on Reddit anyway, but that those people could never be pleased anyway, up to the game. I wish every job has its wishes granted. I agree within reason. Some people want, like, Heavensward Astro back, and I'm a little confused. I didn't play back then, but, like, from what I've read, it doesn't really seem great. People want, like old systems back again, and I'm not entirely sure why. And I talked about this in the Trinity video. I don't think those people actually want those things. I think they want them, but I don't think they actually want them. If it did, then it would be broken. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, personally, this is a personal opinion, but I think that we as gamers, GAYMERS, I don't think that we could accurately predict some of the stuff that's going to happen to our classes. And I don't think that we can really say what we truly want. And I think that once we get it, we'll know. Because there's so many things that have happened throughout the development of this game that, I started playing it during the 5.2 dry spell, the content drought, and just the amount of shit that's happened just since 5.2, it's only 5.5, and it's crazy. Like, it's absolutely bonkers to me. I mean, in the space, the job is fine and isn't broken. 1,000,000% agreed. I want every job to be its logical conclusion. The thing I'm just scared, what they add to Gunbreaker Dancer, because when they added in a new class, they feel so complete. I want stuff to stay the same without them changing how the class plays. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Okay, so I'm actually going to go in-game for a moment, because I want to talk about some stuff that's actually specifically, like, in-game. Let me unmute the audio here. So, it's not muted. Okay, cool. So, if I look at Red Mage, for example, right? Red Mage, you will mock at 50. You have everything you need at 50, right? So you have acceleration, you have displacement, you have, your melee combo, you have your enchanted melee. Oh yeah, I was gonna say you have enchanted melee. Yeah, you have your enchanted melee combo. You have everything that you need, right? The class doesn't feel complete until you hit 80. So my question is, and this is Red Mage. Red Mage is probably one of the more complete ones. The issue that I have is that why would you ever play Red Mage during, like, a leveling roulette to help somebody out if you're level 80? Or if you need to level it for, like, a relic weapon or something. Or so you need to run it for a relic weapon or something. Why would you ever do that when it's like, oh, look, I'm in Sestasha, I have Jolt and Verthunder and Korokor and Verero and Scatter, but I don't even have Verthunder. You know what I mean? Or I don't even have my AoE abilities. Like, you know what I mean? It sucks. It really, really sucks. Personal wishes that the summoners get an interface at one point for the manipulation for his minions. That is a command for so long. That it is a command for so long is a bit hard. Yeah, I agree. I main Samurai and Dragoon, and I cannot think of anything to add to their kits right now. Yeah, and so, like, first of all, I think Samurai needs to be fucking nerfed. Samurai is just too good. It has no business being that good. It's smooth brain as fuck. Dragoon, I think, needs to be buffed. I think it just needs potency buffs and AoE refresh. Dots refresh on its AoEs. I don't necessarily think it's a matter of pruning either, because I can't think of anything as a part of Red Mage's kit, Because red mage doesn't actually have that many abilities because a lot of these are overwrites, right? Like you can see I have every red mage ability bound. That isn't a lot of abilities. Like the issue that I have ultimately at the end of the day is, let's take a look at something like Paladin, right? And I'm only level 70 on Paladin, but also my glam is cute as fuck. So if I look at Zane needs to be nerfed and Dragoon needs to be buffed. Exactly. See, I'm not the only one who thinks that. So if I look at Paladin abilities, oh, dude, Morgan, we're gonna get there. We are gonna fucking get there. Paladin, I feel like, is in the weirdest position because a lot of, I don't even fully understand it, and a lot of it's shit. If you drift by even a little bit, you are completely out of alignment, and it sucks. It just feels awful, right? Because you have, you know, Rage of Halone that upgrades into Royal Authority, but it functions completely differently than Rage of Halone, and then like Goring Blade is a thing, but you get Goring Blade like at 54. The level 70 armor for Paladin is fucking amazing, not gonna lie. Yeah, this actually right here is the Eureka set, or the the chess piece anyways, the Elemental +1 set. Can I ask a thing as a summoner? Because one thing I couldn't understand even as a red mage was what was new. Why Physic heals at max 400 HP. Physic just needs to be an overwrite. It just needs to be an overwrite. Physic is awful. Physic, Cure 1, and fucking Benefic just need to be different. It's wild you say that because Dragoon has gotten nothing but buffs like every patch cycle. Yeah, because it's bad. Like as a red mage with the same gear, this like I'm on my red mage. I'm at level 517. Yeah, 517. I can literally out DPS every other fucking Dragoon, even though we're roughly on par. Normally, you know, even in fights where like melee reigns supreme and ranged have to go do a bunch of shit, right? As summoner, the interface would be full. Yeah. Like Blizzard 2 just needs to become freeze after that level and not be a separate button. So Chad, I'm gonna blow your fucking minds. Are you ready for me to blow your minds? Because I'm gonna blow your fucking mind here. Here's the thing. I want someone to truly try to explain to me why it is that we need to be level synced. Why do we need Echo in the first place? Why not just sync? We're already having our stats synced in the first place. Why not just sync our stats to a certain level? If we're above a certain level, say you cannot go past this point in damage, but you still have your full rotation. Because ultimately that means that if you're doing a dungeon that's level 72, you're missing out on several key abilities. You're not able to practice your rotation. So once you hit 80, what is there for you to do? More MSQ, yes, and more dungeons, yes, but not that many. So you go, let's say you hit 80 and you're like, okay, I have my gear. I want to go do a trial. I want to go do Memoria. Or better yet, I'm going to go do Hades. I want to go do Hades. That's the first level 80 trial that you really get. You're not prepared to go do a level 80 trial. You haven't done anything. You haven't actually played the class enough at 80. It keeps it equal for the new players. It really doesn't. It really, truly doesn't. You're not doing more damage than them. And even so, for new players, that experience doesn't really change anything. People already sprint through the dungeon and get mad in Hawk Manor if people use the keys on the wrong parts. People already get mad if they don't jump off the ledge and skip past a bunch of enemies. They already get mad if you aggro more than you're supposed to. I mean, at the start of Shadowbringers, the funny bug was that when a summoner used Physic per command, it triggered the Scholar's Physic. Yeah, because those classes are fucked. Those classes need to stop being co-leveled. There are folders for things in this. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, like, I'm assuming you mean this. But, or at least level cap for that expansion would work. The thing is that all that's doing is pushing forward the inevitable, right? So if I'm not saying like unsync it. I'm not saying just like let level 80s just do like, and don't let him do what retail WoW does. Don't let us be retail WoW, where we run through, higher level players just trash everything. You don't get to experience the dungeon, right? But if I land a critical direct Scorch, that Scorch does roughly 125,000 damage. That's at level 80 against an enemy that's also level 80, and I'm not being level synced. Or eye level synced, for that matter. I'm okay with being eye level synced, but for like character level, why does my character need to be synced? If my eye level is what determines my stats. Oh, this is actually a custom. This right here. Yeah, this is totally a custom thing. I found out a post on how to do this, and I was like, yeah, I like doing this. So I have my classes here, and I have my professions right here. And I have turn my scenario guide on, turn my duty list on, teleport, return, mount roulette, and then my two-seater. So, again, I that's one of my biggest things that I want for Endwalker is them to say like, okay, you should be able to practice your rotation throughout the entire game. You should constantly feel if we're going to be getting new abilities anyway. You already level faster if you're doing all the MSQ. You already level faster than the MSQ anyway. Like really quickly because of dungeons and stuff like that. So all you're doing is being punished for playing the game and trying to learn it properly. It sucks when you're trying to press a button and you just can't. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating because it's like I leveled Thaumaturge to 30, Black Mage to 80. The instant that I hit 60 and I picked up Red Mage, I was instantly having more fun. With my guild, I had the feeling that I'm the strange one because we try to explain what the dungeon has to offer even when it took longer the new player has the option to learn. Yeah. So like I don't have a problem with that at all, right? I want new players to be able to experience the game and to really sink in the the experience. But it truly cannot be that difficult to balance the game around that, right? Because and I think the stat squish is the perfect time for that to happen. Because it's not a matter of 1 or 2% can really swing for the fences. They're already going to be gimping us so hard that now feels like the perfect time to do that. It's like, hey, I'd like to be able to use Scorch on Lady Amandine. I believe her name, or whatever the fuck her name is, from Hawk Manor. Like, I would like to be able to use my rotation. Will that add for some, will that cause some unforeseen stuff to happen? Sure. But I'd rather we squash those bugs when they happen, rather than just saying, oh, no, you can't have it. Because the system we have now, the system in place we have now, essentially what it causes is it causes players to be level 80, but not like as a character, but not as a player, right? Their skill as a player hasn't evolved to the point of being a level 80 player. There's no barrier between level 80 and how do I want to phrase it? Like, you know how like there's like it's like an experience bar, right? Like, imagine this bar wasn't all blue and it was just down here at the beginning. If the you can't even see my mouse, but if the bar was all the way at the beginning, that's what like being like fresh level 80 is like. And then if the bar is full, that's what it's like after you've been like running Diamond EX and Emerald EX and Memoria EX and all these things. That's the frustration that I have is that like, oh, the game's telling me you're level 80 and you have basic gear, like you're not under geared necessarily. You're meeting the gear requirements for this trial, but you don't know how to play your class. Y'all, when I was progging Seed of Sacrifice EX, I shit you not, I ran into a dude who was using he was a ninja. He was using his fucking anima weapon, the tier 1 anima weapon. Not the replica, the fucking anima weapon. And he didn't use Trick Attack once. It's little to no reason to run roulettes once a job is level cap, at least for me. yes and no. There's like resistance weapons and relic weapons especially are a thing, and they are like there's no reason outside of those to do them. Resistance weapons especially you can do them on any class. So in a way, I miss the AoE Shadow Flame Summoner used to have, but it was cut out because of bloat. Who knows? You don't use your max skills so often as you should to have a mental sink in of it. Yeah, absolutely. Job effectiveness varies from player to player, 100%. But like the thing is, I'm not asking every player to be like I'm not asking every red mage to be able to do the 3-8 standard opener, or the 5-8 standard, or the the 3-10 or whatever. I'm not asking perfection. All I'm asking is for every player to be on the same rough playing field, right? Like, mechanically, it doesn't make sense. It would be the equivalent of, let's say I'm going to culinary school, right? If I'm going to culinary school and I'm going to culinary school for 4 years, and I'm practicing and I'm learning and I'm trying to get better at the game, better at the grind, so to speak. I'm trying to, let me go back in my chair here. If I'm trying to become a better cook, right? And I finish up and I'm like, cool, I got by with C's. I didn't really do all that great. I still need a lot of practice. And they're like, practice? You're serving dinner for the president tomorrow. And I'm like, huh? I'm not ready for that. People would say that, like, and if I serve a poor meal, then everyone would say, oh, well, of course you're going to serve an improper meal. You didn't have the practice yet. You have the base components. You can make X, Y, and Z, but you can't make them all together. You know what I mean? Like, I leveled Ninja to 80, but by the time I actually hit 80 on Ninja, I didn't have enough practice playing Ninja at 80 to go do trials. There's like this weird, like, mid-zone that I don't like. And like, the argument is that, like, well, you should be practicing on training dummies, you should be practicing on like low, unsynced trials and stuff like that. I don't buy that either, because that's not a thing the game is doing for me. That's a thing the game is letting me go do. It's like begrudging me. This happened, I would ask my boss if he lost his mind. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what the fuck? Why are you letting me go do this? Why are you giving me the option to even go do this in the first place? What the fuck? But either way, let's loop away from this topic, because I can feel myself getting a little gamer angry here, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I have a system, and I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious what your guys' thoughts are. So, the game should facilitate job practice through regular gameplay. And Darkman comes along and just encapsulates everything that I said into the perfect statement. Thank you. I talk and write like a crackhead. Thank you, Darkman. I genuinely appreciate you. So, one thing that I truly want more than anything else is a rework to the glamour system. But not in the way that a lot of people are saying, right? People are talking about how they don't want glamour spaces, they want WoW's transmog system. And I don't inherently disagree with those things. I don't disagree with those things at all. The problem is, I want more. I want the ability to move around glamour plates. Be like, oh, I want whatever's in glamour 1 to be in glamour 5. Like, I want to be able to move my glamour plates around and organize them properly instead of them being all over the place. That's first. Second, and this is the big one. If any of you have played WoW Classic, you'll know about a dungeon called Blackrock Depths. Blackrock Depths is a gigantic dungeon. It's absolutely fucking massive, and you're not necessarily meant to sit down and complete it all at once. Granted, because, Classic dungeons are a lot more different of an experience, but I think it's something that 14 could borrow and really, enjoy. First off, there's no duty finder. You can't just queue up for it. You have to spam chat over and over again to try and find a party. When you get a party, you have to physically go to the dungeon and walk inside. Now, once you go inside, there's multiple routes that you can take. They're not official routes. It's like, it's not like the game says, it's not like, what am I thinking of here? It's not like Matoya's Relic where you have like first you go down the fire path, then you go down the water path, then you go down the earth path or whatever. It's actually I think it's earth, water, fire. But that's not what it is. It's literally it's just pick a direction and go. Sometimes you need keys that you can get from different parts of the dungeon. So it encourages you to go through different runs, right? Multiple runs of the same dungeon, in different, but each run being a different path. Then when you have all the keys, you can then do bits and pieces of each path and just hit certain bosses at certain times. And there's rewards and there's like puzzles. I would love if something like that got added to 14 for one specific reason, and that is because I would want for that dungeon as a reward. I'd want that expanded upon, first off. I want that, just more of that concept. But I would want that to be, as a reward, an item that allows, it's a consumable that turns a piece of gear, or it adds die channels to a piece of gear. So like, if you look at my chess piece right now, right? My chess piece right now, the color scheme is red, black, white, and gold, right? That's 4 different colors. So the only thing I can change the color of if I dye this is the red. I would love if I could change it to like blue and silver. Be able to change the red to blue and the gold to silver. Or if I want just the black to change, I could say, okay, well, I want the black to be white. So every time I use that piece of gear, or that consumable on a piece of gear, it adds a die channel up to a maximum per that piece of gear. Would it require a lot of work? Yes. But it's completely doable. It's completely manageable. In the same way that they're adding all dungeons to, eventually going to be adding all dungeons to Explorer mode. When an add-on comes, I'm often at start in Palace of the Dead to have a feeling what changes happen because reading can bring you only so much insight. I fucking hate Palace of the Dead. I think deep dungeons are actually fucking cringe. They are so boring. They are so lame. The fact that they have a timer, I personally, I'm glad other people enjoy them. I think they are fucking awful. I think they add nothing of value to the game. In fact, I think they actively harm the game, personally. This is a choose your own adventure. It is a little bit, yeah. Like, you get to, like, choose, like, it's not like, go here, do a thing, go here, kill a thing. It's specifically, like, you're exploring the depths of this mountainous civilization. And you're like, you don't know what's going on because you haven't been here before. And your character has no idea what's going on because they haven't been here before. It feels like you're actually exploring, right? 14 is very goal-oriented, and in general, I really like that because instead of it just being like, go here and figure it out, idiot, it gives you a concrete goal. It lets me feel like I'm playing a video game, right? Deep dungeons are only used for leveling to me. I don't even use deep dungeons for leveling. I get so fucking bored, I literally just Alt F4 my game. Like, I just go to Task Manager and close this shit out. It's so fucking boring to me. It puts me to sleep. Like I said, I hope other people like them. People saying like, oh, I want another deep dungeon. Why? Why? It's fucking boring. I don't see the need to lock it behind an item. If they just add die channels, it would fix a lot. To be honest, I think there is a perfect reason to lock it behind lock it behind an item, right? And I'll tell you why. One of the only reasons I ever did Memoria Misera, as a player, I was very scared of doing high-end content. I was literally having like anxiety, like actual anxiety, over doing high-end content. This is back when Memoria was high-end content, of course. But you have to do Memoria if you want to get this chess piece that I'm using right now. Or at least if you want to get the dyeable version, because the regular version of this item looks like garbage. Basic days, but for me, it is because in a normal dungeon, I don't like to change my interface up and harm others through this. Sure, yeah, no, that's totally understandable. Like, I can totally understand that, but just use the striking dummy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily want them removed. I don't want them to be like, okay, play Palace of the Dead, because if you don't, then this content's going to be locked and destroyed forever. I think no content should be removed, but I feel like it kind of goes against the community mindset to have longer form dungeon content right now. It seems like every run I do of something now is all about the speed at which the content is done. So yes, but the thing is that ultimately, if there's a goal behind it, right? I'm not saying like you get this item every time you clear, but you have a chance to get it every time you clear. Similar to Castrum Lake Latore, right? When you do CLL, you're running through it and you get multiple coffers. Those coffers can give you different things. Personally like it and had to have that mindset change, but seeing the Reddit post kind of kills my joy. The thing is, how do you expect that? This is not like a interrogation here, but how do you expect that attitude to change if we can't do anything to change it? If we don't do anything to try and change that mindset, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to change the mindset right now because everything is all about speed and efficiency. All trials are all ballets; they're all dances. So when they're pulled off fantastically, it's all about improving your time. Everything is a speed run. The whole thing is though, is that if they start adding a subset of content that is not that, because even Palace of the Dead is that, even Heaven on High is that. Only lock stuff away until a player gets the ability to do it, but never remove it. Agreed. I think it's like, oh well, you can't do Coils of Bahamut until you've done Crystal Tower. And it's like, okay, cool, fine. I'm okay with stuff being held out of reach for me for a little bit, but I don't like things just being like, nope, you can't do it anymore. Your only option to play this is to have a time machine and go back in time and play it when it was here. And I get like limited time events or whatever, but like die channels. I'll tell you what. Here's another one for you, chat. Here's another one. I thought of this a while ago, and I've been meaning to ask you guys about this. What do you think of another disciple of the hand? Ooh, that was almost bad. What do you think about another job that is a disciple of the hand? What do you guys think of another job that is a disciple of the hand? And I'm thinking enchanter. That allows you to add glowy effects to armor. Similar to, and it's not stat boosts, just glowy effects. And it can only be used on gear above a certain eye level. It can only be used on, like, just make some restrictions to it. What do you guys think of that? Oh, I agree with you. I would love to have it shift away from that, and I would hope that, like, DR maybe a trial of long-form content like that. Disciple of hand job. Yeah. That was a pretty big Freudian slip. Yeah, I agree with you, Darkman, 100%. Like, the problem is that, like, there's no optional thing. There's no optional aspect of DR. DR is just a boss rush. So like relics, but without the hassle. Not for armor. Not for yeah, like I'm not talking about for weapons. I'm talking about for armor specifically, right? So like, imagine like an Astro who has like it allows their armor to look like their gear to look like it has like the starry effect to the armor itself. Nothing floating around it, but like the only way I can describe it is like, have you ever seen the cartoon Chowder where they have like the moving pattern? Something like that, where it's like a starscape as part of their outfit, right? Maybe it only works on chess pieces. Maybe it only works on, like certain enchantments only work on certain things. I think that concept would be really cool, right? Because those recipes, and make it so that way it's not a thing where it's like, oh, you level up and then you get to use it. Nope. Make it so it's not a job you have to level. Make it so it's just a thing you can do. And in order to do it, you have to, like, you can disenchant. I think this would make dismantling a lot easier, or like what's what I'm looking for, like desynth. It allows, I think that would like give an interesting aspect of desynth is like, oh yeah, just give everything to the enchanter, let them desynth everything. They can desynth everything, but they don't get crafting materials, That's how they level up. But I don't like to craft things only because it is possible, but my enjoyment is when I craft a thing one needs and brings joy through this. Sure. How would you unlock it? Items or just enchant it? So I think like I said, I think like progress. So the word looking for, Jade, is like progression. I think progression through desynth would be a really interesting system of like they can desynth everything in the game, but they don't get items from it, right? They only get experience. There is no desynth, like, so they can't get trial mats, they can't get rare crafting materials, they can't get demi materia. Kind of like they're re-releasing the old EX weapons, but shiny. I'm not sure. Like, okay, let's start at this and work our way up, right? The old EX weapons. Oh, I mean, sort of, right? But like, just for the sake of example, I have some of my crafters leveled, so I can show you what I mean. So, the Blue Mage for crafter, sort of, yeah, right? Like but instead of like I said, you know, so if I look at use like the augmented weapons here. So if I use this right here, right? So like, I'm not talking about necessarily the I just can't even see my cursor. Hold on. Hold up. I'm not sure how to enable it so you can see my cursor. So like, not like the big ring that's around the outside here, but if you look at this part here, right? So like this effect right here, like that, like slight glowy, the shadowy part to it. I think that effect could be really, 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 really cool, right? Save this kind of stuff, like the big ring effect. Save that for weapons, right? So have to be like giving stuff to the commands. No. Okay, so I think there's a negative button. Yes. So here's the thing. Imagine it like this, right? Try to imagine. Let me find another example of this, right? So something like, I'll use like the Shinryu weapon as an example, right? So not talking about like this ring of runes right here, right? I'm talking about like this lightning effect and like the green haze, like that effect, the blue sparkles that are coming off of it, that stuff right there, right? Imagine that on a piece of armor. For Monk, it could be funny when you glam the invisible hands through this that they burn when used. Yeah, absolutely. So like that would be a perfect example, right? Is that like you look like you have like your fists are on fire if you have like a burning enchantment. So if you use like Suzaku's weapon, right? If you use like a Suzaku weapon where like it's burning, I'm not talking about like the feathers flying up and stuff like that. I'm just talking about like this very basic fire effect here that like glow to it. Yeah, the green glow and lightning's been on another item. Exactly. Imagine that style of effect on a chest piece. I already have armor like that, the elemental armor from Eureka. I would love to be able to put this stuff. Well, the thing is, like, I have a piece of elemental armor, right? It's not the same thing. And it's only on this piece of armor. I would love to be able to put stuff like that wherever I want. That's what I mean, is that, like, so if I stand up here, you can see... Oh, beyond me. Yes, I know about the augmented wolf from Curious, and I know about the heavy wolf from Curious. I've made these things before. This is a perfect example, right? So something like this, these are the only two pieces in the game, or some of the few pieces in the game to my knowledge that work like this. Okay. So, oh, for the desynth part. Okay. So for leveling a crafter, right? If I go to like my, Goldsmith is a bad example. If I go to like my weaver. Yeah, I appreciate that, Fawn. So anything with a check mark I've already crafted, right? If I craft something, it will give me experience. So the more I craft of specific things, the more XP. Sorry, I was reading chat. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. So if I take a piece of gear, let's see if I have a piece of gear I'm like not using at all. Am I using this for anything? Probably. Let's see. Can you tell I've been doing Pagos? There we go. Something in here will probably work. All right. So here we go, right? If I desynth this Gyuki leather ring, right? This is for you, Jade. If I desynth this, you see where it says here, optimal skill rating for desynthesis is 200. Required class, leatherworker. Current skill, 212. So my current skill is higher than the optimal rating. That rating only increases per class, so in this case leatherworker, if I desynth things that a leatherworker can desynth. Because I'm higher than the optimal rating, than the recommended rating, that means I have a chance of getting rare items, whether that be a high quality version of an item that's a crafting component, or a demi-materia that can be used to craft other high-level things, or just a demi-crystal, or whatever, right? Imagine instead, so like, for example, if I don't want to desynth that though, if I desynth, here we go, if I desynth like these bone armorlay, right? It only requires an optimal desynth rating of 10, but my goldsmith rating is 348. So if I desynth it, you see I get soiled femur, wind shards, and fire shards. So before I had an item, now, or like a piece of gear, now I have a bunch of items. Imagine if instead of seeing this screen here, instead of seeing, you'd say, before item, after, you wouldn't see that. Instead, you would just desynth the item, and it would give you, instead of desynth XP, it would just give you experience for leveling the job. Leveling, desynthing items with, above a certain range is of no value, so you have to go and get items from low-level content. So it's like, okay, while this job is between, it's going to go up to 90, while it's between 0 and 50, you can only desynth things as this job from stuff from A Realm Reborn. 51 through 60, you get to go to Heavensward. 61 through 70, Stormblood. 71 through 80, Shadowbringers. 81 through 90, Endwalker. Right? And that's how you level the job. And again, this would be something that, it kind of would be more like the Blue Mage, where this idea of like, how do I want to describe it? With crafters, you have like macros. Like you see I have macros here. And you can also memorize like certain like combos of abilities. It's like a class, right? This wouldn't necessarily be a class, even though it would be a job. It would allow you to, and maybe they could still have like the, they could still have that as like oh, there's like a mini game you have to play similar to like the crafting in here, right? But you can, as a result, you can add a bunch of cool shit. Could be funny when the illusionist can desynth an illusion template out of it. When better, he even got the extravagant effects when you high enough. I'm not sure what you mean. Like, because I think the biggest thing that this game lacks is a true sense of community. Like, and that's going to sound like a wild statement considering how good in general this community is, but the thing is, at the end of the day, all that community stuff is self-imposed, right? You can't force community to engage in a certain way. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. That being said, though, encouraging that community behavior by being like for example, if I trade someone an item in this game, I have to just trade them the item, and there's a limit to 5 items, which is whatever. The issue that I have is that in Classic WoW and Retail WoW, there's an extra slot in the trade tab that says item will not be traded. And you can put an item in there, and if it's like a lockbox, then a rogue can come and pick the lock for you, and you pay them money for it, right? It adds that sense of community. Or an enchanter can come and put plus stats on your gear. And you don't trade them the item, you just put it in the item will not be traded slot. They enchant it, you pay them some money, and then you both hit trade, and you both get what you want. You don't have to give them the item, they enchant it, and then they give it back. It's not like now where like if you want someone to craft something for you, you have to give them the items, then they have to accept it, then they have to do it back. Because what's even better is that in Classic WoW, what you can do, and I think you can still do this in retail as well, I believe. I shit you not, what you can do is, how do I want to phrase it? You can put all the crafting components in the items that will be traded, and then a person will put up in the item will not be traded section the crafted item. You don't even have to trade them the materials. Like, it's amazing. I spend a bit the idea. When he made something item, he can get the... Oh shit, Morgan, that's a fantastic idea. Of like, you have to get enough of the items to desynth it, and you get a chance every time you desynth to get that effect as a recipe that you can add to other things. Oh my fucking god, Morgan, your mind is so huge. That's big brain. What's it like being like 1200 IQ? That's amazing. But you can only get it when you've invested enough XP. That's fucking genius. Holy shit. Applause all around. That's... fuck me. I'm actually a little mad I didn't think of that. That's really smart. Because it would give a lot of people, like, a lot of room to... how do I want to phrase it? It would give people a lot more room to grind, and a lot more reason to go do old content. So, like, yeah, I can imagine it like Blue Mage, where it's like, okay, you know, you're running through. There was a step of the ARR relic that needed crafted items from every disciple of hand and needed a specific desynth map for each, and that disappeared with desynth levels being unlocked. Yeah, so, and that's the thing, is that, like, there isn't really much benefit. I'm a DM and have the habit of taking an idea and run with it. Your players must be genuinely enthused. They must be genuinely stoked to have you as a DM, because that fucking rules, Morgan. Make XP the item you use for the crafter? No. So, think of it like this, Jade, right? Let's say I want to put the Suzaku weapon... wrong thing here. Let's say I want to put, minus the feathers, this effect. Or we'll say something like this, right? Let's say I want this, not the moon, but just like the sparkly, glowy effect. Let's say I want this on a piece of armor, like on this chest piece, right? Because all the weapons have this look to them. So if I wanted something like that, right, I would have to desynth a Tsukiyomi item over and over again as an enchanter to get, like, while I'm within range of the XP, essentially. So if I'm maxed, I can just desynth something over and 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 over again until I unlock the ability to add it to pieces of gear. And then it costs, you know, mats or whatever, right? So, like, imagine, like, this piece of gear on or this effect on a piece of armor. Imagine, you know, like, it'd probably have to be like this effect up here. You know? Imagine, use something from like here. Imagine like this effect, right? Or like the bubbles. You know, players are often scared. But yeah, so I think that would be absolutely amazing. Because I like the minimalist approach to the game, but I'm also a big fan of the approach that, like less is more, but oftentimes more is more. You're a good DM then, exactly. Your player should be afraid of you. But I've talked a lot about things that I would make it that the illusion craft is a bit costly. You need other crafters to help you make it. Yeah, like I think that would be perfectly acceptable as well. Like I don't know, like there's a lot of ways you could do that. I think that'd be like really, really, really cool. But I've talked enough, I think, for the moment at the very least, about what I want to see happen. What do you guys want? What are some stuff that like that you're just like, man, I really just want this to happen. I just want this specific thing. It could even be a progress meter for learning the enchant or just a percentage chance that is seen as increasing. Oh my god, yes, the numbers. Yeah, so make it so like it's not even like a matter of luck, it's just you have to descent it X amount of times. It doesn't matter what weapon it is, what piece of gear it is, as long as you disenchant it. I would hesitate to be like, oh, you can consume like a primal mat, like you can consume like a celestial kimono remnant, because that's just BM. But I think they'd also have to prevent griefing. I think they'd also have to limit the amount of times you could like as an enchanter you can't desynth it again. You can't desynth items as an enchanter for that set of items after you've completed it. You have to desynth as the class in question. Play through the idea that some NPCs are related as a retired adventurer team. I run with that. Big Bad Endgame Masquerade was part of it, and this fuels state for the city. That's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. Why not both? You can have luck or after X amounts. Ooh. Luck with some bad luck prevention. Bad luck protection. I like that. I like that. Check Party Finder. What's going on in Party Finder right now? There's an SOS fight. Might go do that. I think I'm gonna go do that, chat. But chat, I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see what your wants are. Funny part, spoilers don't even know his luck. That's great. Like, what are some things that you're like, man, I really, really want this. Or if you prefer, SOS fight, yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is actually important. Fawn, I knew you were gonna fucking join this party. I fucking knew it. I absolutely knew it. I'm so excited. Hell yeah. So have you guys seen this fight? Have you guys seen the Seat of Sacrifice fight? Anyone who hasn't, this fight is a spoiler for patch 5.3 of Shadowbringers. It's a very big spoiler. Just so you know. To be able to Orange Parson Savage. You gotta get good, Fawn. Cringe ass Nene, baby. Like an alchemist that I could, as an alchemist that I could descent the potions. Ooh. I would be down with that. So that was where we used to be in chests. Seat, that's what SOS translates to. Yeah. Seat of Sacrifice. It's the best fucking fight in the whole series. I'll fight you, June. Watch yourself. We can do cry about it. I'm not gonna listen to a man who used to be a Lalafell. I'm not gonna take that. Get a step ladder and come back. We are missing one singular healer. Oh, we have 2 melees, so I'm gonna look like a cringe-ass Nene baby in this fight, though, because then I'm gonna have to go northeast. Who the fuck? Oh, shit! Used to be a Lalafell. They're a Lalafell again! Don't even wish to get items out of it, but for the decent XP. Honestly, yeah. I think that'd be really cool, is being able to decent potions. Oh, bitch. They haven't even played a Lalafell. They play a Lalafell. Can I get a boo in chat? Everyone boo Fawn. This is a joke, Fawn. I don't actually boo you. You're a great human being. Even though a little sus right now. Punching my kneecaps off. Oh, I actually ran with this Astro the other day. They were actually pretty good. Alright, everybody, last warning. If you haven't seen this fight, if you don't know who the boss of this fight is a spoiler. Weapons have a strange table. As a summoner, I make it the item, but I don't want to rule for an item another player could need. Yeah, and that's just the thing, honestly. Just greed for it. Because if they want it, they need it. You know, boo. Exactly. You're probably a lovely person. Fawn is like genuinely one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. Come on, Mr. Doki. Fawn's like legit one of the nicest people. Also, if I'm not jumping around in the mist, this is generally where I hang out. Let's go. Hey. Alright, last call. Look away from the screen now. Alt F4 and microwave your hard drive if this is a spoiler. Alright, time to put this back up. Okay, boom. I'm going here, and you can't stop me. Because I want more mid-tier content that's around EX difficulty, like EX dungeons or more trials, I guess. Just kidding, bitch. Ha! Taking your spot. Ooh, that would have sucked. Alright, so we have healer 2, healer 1. Oh, someone just DC'd. Bangers only. Volume up. I would very much like to keep this position. I don't have the time commitment for Savage progging, but I can do EX stuff sometimes. Yeah, I honestly would like that as well. 14 has some of the nicest people I've ever met. I've met some of my best friends just hanging in Limsa. That's awesome. Top right. Vampire. I'm going to be very nice to this monk and hope that he doesn't mind... Wait, what? Huh? Wait, what? Oh, top left. Yeah, there we go. Got positionals, milady. Ah, I see. Damn it. All right, chat. You're not allowed to flame me. All right, do we have everybody? We're missing somebody. There we go. There we go. Let's see. How's that, chat? Here we go. Fucked up my rotation a little bit, but it's not that bad. Watching too many JP streamers and seeing the square is weird. Yeah. Oh. How the fuck did that happen? I don't hear anything but clickies. What the hell? It's okay. I'm sorry, you're probably not going to be able to hear anything this run. I don't know what's going on. It's only outputting my audio. Like my microphone audio. Pretend I didn't just kill them. Why do I have a Volna? What the fuck? Won't be PBing this chat, fortunately. What are you doing? There we go. This healer is so very dead. Fawn, you've cursed this run. Oh my god, he jumped at the wrong time. OBS is fucky wucky. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on. In between rounds, I'll pull up just like a 1 hour loop of To the Edge. Okay, at least we at least did this correctly. Oh my god, I fucked up. I was so focused on him being out of the way that I fucked up my combo. Chat, you didn't see that. I am so cringe. I got both of those off. Nice. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go 5. Okay, there we go. Okay. I don't know how I died there, but let's see if this helps. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. This is so scuffed. 1, 2, 3 in chat if you can hear. In your regular audio. Game audio, I should say. Regular audio. Holy shit, this is so scuffed.
I am salvation given form. Mankind's first hero and his final hope. For victory, I render up my all. You still stand.
Messed up a combo? That's a cancel. Oh no, I'm canceled! Please. Please pick up my tether. Please, I don't want to die! God fucking damn it. Also kind of loud. Yep, okay, so I had it turned up. There we go. There's a bit of a delay on stream, because I wasn't sure if it was the delay that was causing the problems in the first place, but now I know what the problem is. It was only... Apparently, YouTube does not stream multiple audio sources anymore. It only, or it streams multiple audio sources, but it doesn't stream from multiple channels. So it was only picking up whatever was in channel 1, which was my game audio. Oh no, fun! What a clown fiesta this has been. Is that better, chat? I have the volume turned back down again. Stack on healer 2, move. Look away from south, Protean, stop. Move. Look away. Protean. Okay, I'm good. What the fuck is up, gamers? This is gonna be south for sure. My red leader always seems to bite the dust and runs. Never a clean run, he always says. That's true, never a clean run. Please, thank you. We're gonna at least see one more Spectral Warrior here. It's gonna be annoying. We've seen Summoner Warrior so far. Sounds better. Alright, cool. Excellent. Oh, fuck me. This is my corner, you motherfucker! Go away! Just kidding, it's not, and I'm bad. Uh-oh. Goodbye, chat. I live with... Oh, I live with 550. I'm so used to being in that southeast spot. It's 2 tanks with 7% health, I believe. $100%, I believe. With 2 vulnups and a fucking physical vulnup. Oh no! It had to be Ninja, no! I just work here, it's true fun. It's very true. A mythical tale that is long sought after. It's true. Okay, my bad. I totally screwed that one up. Very used to southeast. I really wish they would just let me go southeast and just outparse every single one of them. I would go northeast if I was a different melee, but all my GCs are positionals.
This battle shall be our last.
Early pulls, because of course. Oh my god. The backflip is always so fucking scary. I'm in the wrong spot again. Not that time.
Your demise will be ours.
Paladins can solo, but if they're lucky, yeah. I think everyone was just like, fuck this, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore.
Effulgent ether, smite my foe.
Hey, let's go. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Here we go. Mr. Doki says, controller, please no.
Gleaming steel, light my path.
Getting lucky on my procs. East.
My soul knows no surrender.
Healer, please!
Hope, grant me strength.
Oh, double melee and burst window, Pog champ.
Sword of shadow.
As Paladin, I can say that safely. That's honestly fair. It's gonna be, what, element, then roll positions?
Effulgent ether, smite my
Stack
foe.
something. It's very difficult for me to read chat during this, I apologize. I still haven't gotten the fucking mount for this, that's why I'm trying to farm this. Oh fuck. Fawn! You asshole! You piece of shit.
To me, warriors of light.
I'm in the wrong spot. I'm just gonna pretend I was in the right spot. I almost went to the exact same spot again. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, jump, 7, 8, 9, explosion, 11, 12. Please take my fucking tether. Thank you. Missed this fight, it was fun. Currently progging E12S as white mage and these constant heart attacks. Yeah, so that's what I've heard, is that like E12S is just a fucking like absolute nightmare. Not in like a bad way, of course, but why would you pop divination right now? Won't be in alignment. It's okay though.
I am salvation given for
Yeah, there's a mount for SOS. Yes, the Gwyber of Light.
mankind's first hero and his final hope. For
Wait for damage, heal up.
You still stand.
There should be a divination for this, but... Yep, all for Dragon Mech. I want that fucking Dragon Mech so bad, dude. Dark Knight Bard, that's so cringe. Come on, brother. I'm going to the right spot. I did it, chat. I'm a gamer. Flare on me. Oh, that's so cringe. Oh, I dropped that really close. And my DPS took a big hit there. Meteor. My cringe card has been revoked. Yeah, my highest parse for this has been really high. I'm not sure if I should be talking about that, but allegedly. Allegedly my top parse has been really high. Fuck, just last night I got a 75.
I will not fall.
Protean. Move. Stack on somebody. Look away from me. Stop. Okay. So I'm gonna... People do this so early. There you go. Then you do this. So then I'll let them stack, and I'm just gonna go all the way over here. And then I'll stop. See? There you go. Just like that. It's north. Just like lost all my uptime there. So I was like, I don't know what I should do here. Don't jump. There we go. Why not go off? Fuck you. Yeah, it's a two-seater dragon mech. It's fucking sick. My brain's turned to mush. I'm just like not being efficient at all. Wait, you stack south first, right? I'm gonna die. Fawn! Thank you for saving me, Fawn. Okay. And watch the mount not even drop. Oh my god, it actually dropped. I rolled a 72. Oh my god, I got it! Oh my god! Yo! And I got the bow! Oh my god! Holy shit! Holy fucking shit. You guys don't know how many times I ran this fucking fight? Streamer luck, you're welcome. Wait, this is EX? Yeah, it's an EX fight. Yep. I'm actually gonna withdraw, and I'm gonna fucking leave party. I appreciate it. My brain power. Fawn, you mad lad. I actually did just loot and scoot. I actually did just loot and scoot. 100% I did. Fawn, I've run this fight 59 times. I have... I did, and I'd do it again. Look, it's so rare that I loot and scoot. Fucking loot and scoot. You're right. I did. It is so rare that I loot and scoot. And I'll tell you exactly why I loot and scoot. Okay? The only times that I ever loot and scoot is on a fight. You've run it 150 times. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Like, okay. A good example of this is Byakko, right? I've been farming Byakko a ton. And Byakko's a fast fight nowadays. You can just DPS him down. You can kill him in like a minute and 10 seconds. Also, yes, this is the trial mount here you get for getting all the Gwybers. The issue that I have is that once like 3 or 4 people get their mounts, they just dip and the party falls apart, right? I'm not a tank. I'm not a healer. It's going to be very easy to replace a DPS for that fight. Well, there you go. You just got yourself on tails from DF. Who gives a shit? Like, again, I'm not a tank. I'm not a healer. Like, if a tank is bad or a healer is bad, they're not going to be removed from party if they're being an asshole or if they're being bad, right? I did do a loot, scoot, and boogie. I did. You're right. I didn't do it to be mean. I didn't do it to be selfish. I didn't do it to be an asshole. Man, this fucking mount's so good. But for people who were wondering what that mount looks like, Gwyber of Light. Yo. Let's go, chat. How many runs was it with that group? 1. Well, 2, technically, but 1 complete run. Are they still in Party Finder right now? Yeah, see, look, like the instant that I left, they got a Bard. And they got another Red Mage. Like, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Like, a tank left, but that was Fawn. Like, it's seriously not that big a deal, I promise. Fucking God, it looks so good. Let's see, mount guide. Add to favorites, goodbye, Fake Wyber. Might need to run it myself for a Sword of Light in the mount. Yeah, I think it's called the Plate of Light. I have one, actually. I have one at the, actually I think I have it on me. Yeah, Plate of Light right here. They're not too expensive. If I take a look here. Plate of Light. Plate of Light. On Fairy, it's about $1 mil. That's about 933,000. That's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Oh, and here's Fawn showing off the Diamond Gwyber, which I fucking absolutely adore. They fell. I don't know if this will even work. Hey, sorry to loot and scoot. I was playing real bad and didn't wanna drag y'all down. Figured you could find another DPS quick. Gotta have her diamonds. You're right. We NBs out here just want diamonds in the form of a dragon, specifically. Controversial opinion. I'm not a big fan of diamonds on rings or anything like that, or on like jewelry. I like opals. I'm wearing an opal ring right now, actually. But yeah, chat, that was the reason why I dipped. To be honest, I wasn't expecting to get the mount that run. And it really didn't matter to me whether or not I got the mount. It wasn't like, oh, I'll dip once I get the mount. My issue was that I didn't want to keep running it because I thought I was in a good enough mental state to run it. I am not. I am not. But yeah, I've run this dungeon 59 fucking times. really glad this was the mount that got picked in the roulette. Very happy about that. But I think now's a good time for me to... I'm gonna go on to this Reddit post, and I want to look at all the things that it's talking about, right? I want to see what you guys feel about some of this stuff, right? So, biggest things people talking about, like glamour system revamp, of just you get an item, you can spend an item to turn that item. You basically spend a glamour prism to consume the item, and you could turn it into a glamour piece, essentially. Honestly, I'm not a fan of any jewelry. It's overrated. I would wear anything but rings and necklaces. I like the way necklaces look on me because my neck is long, but I'm not a big fan of actually wearing necklaces. It feels like I am being constricted, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like anything touching my neck, even though I have long hair. I want to be able to change glamours anywhere instead of just major cities. Let's see. New melee DPS. New melee DPS is Mystic Knight or a class with a similar thematic appeal. I kind of agree. Mystic Knight / Templar would be actually dope as fuck. Not gonna lie. Anything other than fucking Berserker. People keep talking about how they're so excited. They're like, oh, it's gonna be Berserker. We already have that. It's fucking Warrior. Shut up. Finish Hrothgar and Viera. I already mentioned that earlier. That's one thing that I really want. Revamp the character creator with new faces, facial hair options that aren't tied to face, and better skin texture so characters' bodies don't look like they're made of Play-Doh. Some type of expanded body art or tattooed system would be nice as well. Yes. Redistribute and add new skills in order to make level syncing less of a pain. For example, make sure every class has an AoE by the time they're in Sastasha. Add lesser versions of current skills like Dark's second AoE combo move that get upgraded later on, so classes don't have long, awkward phases where it feels like they're missing core features. Agreed. And someone says, I personally think they should just allow you to use your unsynced skill trait list. If it's truly too game-breaking for any given class, add a reverse echo to keep DPS equivalent. Yeah. We're already being eye level synced. Why do we need to be level synced? Because the only thing that level affects is max HP and like some base stats. But with base stats, the formula for base stats going down in the next expansion, then now's the perfect time. The biggest thing people are asking for is overall quality of life changes with all jobs. Nothing major, just stuff like Bard's Bloodletter / Reign of Death having 2 stacks like Machinist and their Gauss Round / Ricochet. Let them see some high level skills be given weaker versions at lower levels or be available much sooner. Stuff like Intervene being given a lower leveled version. The second part of AoE combos being available much sooner on more than just the 2 starting tanks, with the first step being available at level 40 or so. Would make lower level dungeons be much more bearable, especially for the melee DPS. Agreed, 100%. I also kind of hope Summoner gets a full revamp like what Machinist got. Honestly, the job is starting to stretch itself in so many places because of all the additions and changes over the years. It's pulling triple duty as a dot mage, a pet mage, and a summoner mage, with each having their own different issues, such as the sort of existence of the dots, which has one interaction with your toolkit with Fester and pets ghosting you. Demi-summons are probably the most well put together part of the kit, with the only issues being their inability to attack when moving, and Phoenix and the hardcast Everlasting Flight, which can cause you to drop a GCD, but even those could reasonably be fixed without much issue. According to the recent interview with Yoshi P, I didn't know this, Summoner has hit a breaking point for exactly this reason. It's at a critical mass because of things to do. They literally can't give it more things to do because there's no room on the proverbial canvas. Yeah, Dragoon AoE definitely needs to be given earlier than level 40. Yeah, agreed. Why the fuck do I have to wait until level 40? Because it's not like you're... Okay, it would work if it was like Classic WoW. And I'm not saying Classic WoW is better. I've been talking about it a lot. It's definitely not better. But it would work in a game like Classic WoW, and does work in a game like in Classic WoW. And the reason being is because you're given a tool kit. It's a priority-based skill system. It's not a rotation, right? You don't really have a rotation. You have moment-to-moment decision-making that you're making on every single character, every single class, right? Every single spec. So with that in mind, that doesn't make sense for 14, where it's like okay, how would I change leveling in 14? I'm gonna have to wait a long time as well for any kind of AoE. Yeah, all melee DPS. Like, fuck, if I look at Ninja, hell, some classes need AoEs around Sastasha. Agreed. I don't get fucking Death Blossom until 38, and I don't get my AoE combo ender until 52. Why? I would love for there to just be more skills that are just overwrites. That's personally what I want. Like, Summoner is functional. Someone's saying here. From what I gather, the summoner class is at somewhat of a dead end, so they're trying to do something about that. In order to do this, they need to make it so summoners and scholars are no longer co-leveled. 35 for Mudra AoE? Yeah, but that's using a Mudra. And that's still way later than Sastasha. At 30? Like 35? You're doing, what is this thing do? That thing's at 34. You're doing Sunken Temple. So you have to do Sastasha, Tantara, Copperbell, Thousand Maws, Hawk Manor, and Brayflocks before you can even do AoE on mobs. And there's multiple packs of AoE mobs. I wonder if the ending of the Heidelin storyline, the melee DPS, might be Hell Knight or Netherseer. Hell Knight, I don't think so. Only because that would kind of encroach upon Dark Knight a little bit. But I think Netherseer is a fucking big brain option. Thiel Ren. I think that'd be fucking dope. When I was going through ARR, I was wondering when I would get an AoE, and since they tied it to my standard rotation, I thought it was a good one. You fool. Paladin and ARR had such a hard time in low-level dungeons over Warrior. Flash was not comparable to Overpower in the slightest. Yeah. So, okay. I think one thing needs to be addressed before anything else. I'm actually going to put on some music here while we talk about this. Here we go. Here's an extended version. There we go. I think one thing needs to be said about whatever the new melee class is going to be. We're going to know tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is that whatever they decide to call it is largely going to be irrelevant, right? Because Sage in Final Fantasy Tactics is just Red Mage but better, right? And they would just use White Mage weapons. But the whole thing is that, like, it's different in 14. In 14, those classes are allowed to be different. Dancer is like a healer support class in like Bravely Default and shit like that, right? Astrologian kind of plays entirely differently and has time magic, and it used to, but now it's gone, right? I think Netherseer would be an interesting option, but I think... Let me actually get music here. Stupid configuration. So, I think the biggest thing when it comes to the classes is that regardless of whatever they decide to call it, it's all about how it plays, right? Because Red Mage doesn't really play like Red Mage in the games, right? Like Red Mage doesn't play like a Red Mage in like Bravely Default or something. It just doesn't. Because a Red Mage is just a shittier version of a White Mage and a Black Mage. Red Mage is more so playing like Spell Fencer or Rune Fencer. I think it's just Spell Fencer. And that's fine. That's perfectly acceptable. I am a big fan of how, the way that Red Mage plays. I love it a lot, right? A big thing is that we can speculate the weapon and maybe the playstyle, but not the name. Exactly. Because they could just make up a fucking name. And Yoshi P has said very many times that he's probably going to introduce classes that aren't, you know, that are unique to 14. And that they're not referential necessarily to other classes that already exist. Gunbreaker, it just has a gunblade. Lightning from Final Fantasy 13 has a gunblade. You know? Fucking Squall has a gunblade. A lot of characters have gunblades. Just because characters have a gunblade doesn't mean that they're gunbreakers. You know what I mean? They have usually like unique classes, right? That are related to them being like the protagonist of their games. So Darkman, you're absolutely right. A big thing is, you know, we can speculate the weapon and maybe the playstyle, but I don't think we can speculate the name. I was so sure we were gonna get a new, we weren't gonna get a new caster and that we were gonna get a melee DPS. I was so sure we were gonna get that we were gonna get a new caster and not a melee DPS, and I was heartbroken. I'm still like really bummed that we're not getting a new caster. But if we're not getting a new caster, that leads me to believe that they're really gonna do some shit to Summoner and Scholar. The real question is, who's going to be watching the announcement showcase? Not the announcement showcase, excuse me, the FanFest tomorrow. Because I'm not going to watch the entire thing, but I do want to watch the announcement. Like the very first panel. I think the reason for the new melee instead of caster makes a lot of sense. It's just not the way most people were thinking in job categories. I mean, here's the thing, right? Yes, magical range DPS, blue mage is here, but it doesn't make sense. Okay, limited jobs need their own category if they're going to continue to add limited jobs. Keynote for sure, yeah, absolutely. What annoys me is that we're going to go from 5 full melee DPS that can do whatever content they want, and we're still going to have 3 casters. Staying up to watch the whole keynote tomorrow. If I'm not too anxious, I'm not sure how I'm going to be feeling. I've been not feeling super great. Oh, my condolences, Jade. I'm very sorry to hear that. I've been going through a bit of a rough patch lately. A bit of a rough, you know, life series of crises, but if I'm feeling up to it, I kind of want to do like an event tomorrow with everybody. I kind of want to like hang out and watch the stream, you know, just like in chat. Like do like a restream or something. It just goes so late here. Yeah, it's like 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. EST here. Of course, Jade. I'm very sorry to hear about your loss. Yeah, I if I'm feeling up to it, I might do like a restream or something. If I do want to, you'll hear about it on Twitter. You know, have no fear of that. When's the keynote? Because if I don't miss it, it'll be plastered. The keynote is 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you might have to do the conversions on your own. Starts 9 p.m. EST. Yep. Man, the Endwalker theme is so good. 10 for me, perfect. Hell yeah! Have you guys heard the Alex McCullough and Husky the Geeks Endwalker boss theme? That they got fucking Masayoshi Soken to listen to, and he said it was sick as hell. Correctly, mind you. It really is so good. Wonder when the lyrics will get an announced version. Oh yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I'm playing it. That was a sick clip. Yeah, it really was. It really was. Imagine fighting a boss to this theme, dude. Oh my god. God, Alex McCullough is so good. Husky the Geek just fucking shreds, dude. Some other stuff. I hope they fix it up when we get the lyric version of the theme. Yeah, honestly. I remember how this was for Shadowbringers, but it feels like there's a larger amount of community interaction from the Final Fantasy 14 team for this hype period and launch. I wasn't here during that time period, so I would have no way of knowing. It reminds me, actually, of the first time I saw Thornton at the end of Heaven's Word. That blew my mind in the community at the time. Oh god, yeah, I can only imagine. Husky's such a good guitar player, and Alex just kills the bass. Oh my god, I know, he just fucking absolutely just fuck. It's just this part here is chat, I'm telling you right now, I don't want to be like a Final Fantasy 14 YouTuber. I don't want to be a YouTuber at all. And I'm going to be on a bit of a hiatus. Very infrequent streams, infrequent videos here and there. Going forward, just because not in the best of places at the moment. But I will say this much. If they do a reprise of Answers, like not just use the song Answers reprise, but if they use like a remix reprise of Answers during the final fight, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Yeah, I believe he is a French Canadian. Honestly, I think they just need to loosen the glamour system altogether, like, and just kind of loosen the way that it works, and like, Disciple of War, Disciple of Magic, Disciple of Hand, Disciple of Land. I'm gonna conduct myself as well. Hell yeah! I have a lot of Canadian gamers that watch me. I think y'all are pretty dope. Sorry for us being shitty neighbors. Or even make the HUD look like the one from Base 14. See, I don't even need that. If they just do like a remix, like, have you guys heard the reprise of 14 or of Answers, the one they used at the end of 1.0? Hold on. Listen to this. If you haven't heard it, at least you're not France. Fuck France. It's a bit quiet, but like, it's so fucking... Yeah, well, part of this does. Part of this. They use a kind of version of this. But I don't like the version that they use, because the original version is like a rock ballad, but they do use a version of this. What's another song that I can... Fucking... Yes, YouTube, thank you for running me Bury the Light. Ooh, I'll use Kaina. Here we go. That fight moving through 3 versions is nuts. Yeah. Can I expand on one idea from you earlier? Why not the Illusionist Crafter? Yeah, it's so good. Why not the Illusionist that he can make the item tag change? Ooh! Yeah, that would also be really cool. Of being like, oh yeah, so the Illusionist or the Enchanter or whatever, they can change it so it's, oh, this is not just a white mage item. This is a Disciple of Magic item. Bury the Light is fucking amazing. It's a little low key in the stream right now, and that song is very not low key. That would turn the stream from low key to low key. God, this song is so fucking good, dude. Oh. Normally I have songs that are like just vibes, like that are on my on YouTube, and then YouTube's like, no, you want to listen to like a very high intensity like acid metal song? It's like, yes, but also no, not at the moment anyway. All right, let's take a look at some of the other Reddit stuff. Let's see. Yeah, Your Heart Rates had great music. Name it only illusionist so to behold a naming convention. Yeah, sure. Acid metal. I'm not sure if it's actually like called acid metal. It's like it's like electric and metal and it's I don't know. Acid metal is just what it sounds like to me personally, but I've been known to name things stupid things. So here's the thing, right? Which do you guys prefer for healers? Would you prefer healers not DPS at all, in which case they only have like 1 or 2 DPS buttons? Or would you rather have healers that have like interesting mechanics in a sub rotation that doesn't interfere with like their healing doesn't interfere with that and vice versa, or better yet, have their healing looped into damage in some way? Like, I kind of just wish that healers were just good. Like, rather, I actually wish healers were a little worse. And I should probably explain what I mean by that. Like, healers are just too good. This glamorous form of illusion in the name would help to understand what the crafter's goal is. Okay, alright. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. I think it's a good balance now that they took out the big skill floor ceiling in Cleric Stance. Okay, so yeah, the song is very calming. I'm like actually kind of falling asleep. Probably the mix of DPS and heal at the moment, if there were some sort of combo system, i.e. different skills to use, would be pretty pog. So like, you had to have it on a DPS and it killed your healing. To be honest, I didn't play with Cleric Stance being a thing, right? But I kind of wish that that was still the case. I just wish there was something to do as healers. Because, like, your skill as a healer is using OGCDs, not using GCDs, right? My other idea is that Illusionist also doesn't collide with other jobs they may come up with. Yeah, it's true. It's a good point. It's just annoying to me that, like, if the party's at full health, my job is over, right? What's annoying to me, like, it's one of the few times where people like, I miss Cleric Stance. Like, I can understand why they messed with Tank Stance, right? I understand why they messed with that, so like stance dancing. But stance dancing on healers makes sense, where it's like, okay, I'm focused on healing while I need to heal. If no one needs to heal, then if no one needs to be healed, then why am I here? And especially with them putting more of a focus on barrier healers, I really wouldn't be surprised if they put something like Cleric Stance back in the game. They're adjusting, like, okay, here's the problem. Okay, this is the truth of the situation. This is an objective truth. Healers, especially White Mage, have way too many really good OGCD options. A tank with a 10-second invuln has a 7-minute cooldown. Paladin's Hallowed Ground has a 7-minute cooldown, right? Benediction, which is a full heal, costs no lilies, costs no mana, costs no secondary or tertiary resource, and has a 3-minute cooldown. That means that a tank can take, 3 or 4 tank busters with Volnups through all of their mitigation, then Hallowed Ground, get Benedictioned, lose all their Volnups, and be back to fighting fair, and all it costs is 2 cooldowns. Idea was that the Astra's 2 forms could be great for such things. I mean, yeah. But like, okay. White mages just have way too much good shit. Scholars, they have really cool, fun stuff, but it isn't strong enough. Some classes are really strong, some classes are really weak. I don't know if Lily, like, the fact that Lilies, you just have to wait for them to come back is annoying. And the fact that, like, there's no benefit for shielding allies as a scholar is annoying. Personally, what I would absolutely love is if they made it so Scholar, like, if you give someone a shield and that shield gets broken by an attack from an enemy, you get bonus. I think they just need to get rid of tank invulns, not gonna lie. Yeah, I think like invulns are just, they're just cringe. It's not a button that you have to think about, it's just a button that you can do. What do you need a song? Oh no. Let's see. Looking for a good theme here. You know what? Here we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, healers are just, some healers are really strong, some healers aren't strong enough. So I think a good way to fix that is figure out what each class is supposed to do and empower them to do it more, right? So if I take my Scholar and I give someone a shield, I would want that shield to be broken. I think having that, because obviously if you're you're not supposed to, okay, if you shielded them and they don't take any damage, then you wasted mana. In the same way that it's the same thing as healing someone at full health. It's not useful, right? That's the biggest skill you can have as a healer, is cooldown management and mana management, right? You know, resource management. If the changes they want to do healers, the Astro Kit will go through a loop. Yeah, 100%. For fights in Savage, the barriers really help out with not having to spend either GCs or lilies. I don't have on catch up. As a tank, I have to super fun unless you're memeing. And that's the thing, right? Is that like some Savage fights, like those barriers would help. But what I mean is that like, I'm not saying barriers are bad. Like, barriers are great. But what I'm saying is that when you put a barrier on somebody, you're expecting them to take damage. And the only time you heal someone in a Savage or an Ultimate is if you know they're going to die. Obviously, my shield on my own HP bar even when I'm alone. Yeah, agreed. I'm annoyed by Scholar being very close to what I want it to be. But here's a thought. Completely reverse how Fairy Meter works and Aetherflow. Fucking get rid of Aetherflow. Aetherflow is just fucking cringe. Make it so for every barrier that gets broken, you get meter. And then make your skills really good, but cost a lot of meter, like your OGCDs. Like, I think that's the way to do it, to be honest. And then for White Mage, make it so White Mages are actually doing a lot of DPS. Give them reasons to do damage. And it sucks because this is a live service game, right? Because this is a game that is constantly adding new things to its repertoire. Because that is a constant thing. Let's go use pet actions during a cast. Yes, exactly. Because new things constantly have to be added, when new things get added, old things get forgotten. And when old things get forgotten, they don't get changed. And sometimes things get changed that they have no reason to be changed. Like, Scholar and Summoner will never be anything other than joke classes. Like, Summoner just does too much damage, and it's not fun. Like, it just isn't fun. I have it at 80, it's just not fun. Scholar, I'm trying to phrase this the right way. Red Mage, when I'm playing Red Mage, I feel like an actual Red Mage. Like, I feel the way the class is supposed to make me feel, right? I feel the way I'm supposed to be feeling. With Scholar, I don't feel that. I kind of do. Like, I can feel it on the outskirts. Summoner, I don't feel that at all. And I was brainstorming, like, how a Time Mage class, or Chronomancer, or however you want to phrase it, class could work, where it's like, you put one of your big abilities is that you one of your big cooldowns is that you pause all damage on the boss for X amount of seconds, based on how much, like, your meter would be an hourglass, and you have to go through 2 different phases, and you flip between different phases of the hourglass. One fills it, one spends it, right? Or something to that effect, right? And then I think the cool way to do that would be it pauses when you press this cooldown, it flips the hourglass, and it pauses all damage on the boss, right? And then once the damage, once that debuff goes away, or when you press a button, like press the button again, all the damage that happened during that time period is added up, multiplied by 1.5, and then applied to the boss. As a summoner, I would also be okay when physic changes to MP heal over time. Yeah, honestly. I feel like a big brain battle tactician on Scholar. Yeah, like, I feel like that sometimes, but I feel like I'm working twice as hard for half as much. Slotting in all these OGCDs I have, getting the most out of each one I use. Yeah, like that's fine. It's just, I want more of it, because I don't feel it as strong, right? Where it's like, for example, why do I have to use deployment tactics, then use Adlo? Or, sorry, use Adlo, then use deployment tactics. Why do I have to use, you know what I mean? Like, just make it a button that I can press. No other class has to worry about that kind of stuff. So if you need it in a moment, you need it in a pinch, you know, you're kind of screwed. Or regen up because you use the Aether in the air to heal a target? Yeah, sure. But what I was saying earlier, it was like, the issue that I have is that because old things get changed, or new things get added, they're constantly putting themselves in a position of catch up, right? Let's say the game runs, you know, Yoshi says he's going to work on this game till he dies. Let's say he runs the game for another 10 years. For another 10 years from now, when do they decide that they stop adding classes? Do they keep adding classes? And if they do, how long did people wait for a new healer? How long have people been waiting for you know, Squeenix and Yoshi P to get, like, the dev team to get the what the fuck is it called? Like a rework, or like get it right. How long have people been waiting for Scholar to just be good? And every time they're just like, haha, it's so close to being good, but it's not. It sucks, and I'm angry. Because the thing that Summoner has is a bad joke at the moment. Yeah, exactly. And, like, I feel like a lot of people are either... I feel like there's only two camps of players, really, primarily. It's the only voices that I see are people that are either hypercritical and be like, well, the devs don't care, which is just, I've talked about it in the Trinity video. It's absurd. You're an idiot. Shut the fuck up. Or they say, well, the devs can do no wrong, and COVID, and et cetera, 1.0 technical debt. Here's the truth of the situation. Okay, as someone who's worked in business before, if you present a plan to your higher ups at a company, it doesn't matter what company you work for, okay? Any company likes to make money. So if you can say to any company, guess what? If we do this, we're going to make a lot of money. It's going to require a lot of work, but we're going to make you a lot of money. Not a single fucking person is going to, at that company, they're not going to try to persuade you not to do that. Right? Like, but what sucks is that, like, the focus seems to be being put on things that I don't think anybody really cares about. Like, oh, Bard is still boring, Scholar's still bad, Summoner's still cringe. A lot of the classes are in a really weird spot right now. But oh, thank God we have Dome and Mahjong. And then everyone's like, oh, I want Blitzball. I don't understand it. It's me. Like, thank God we have Dome and Mahjong. Thank God we have Triple Triad. And, like, it makes me worry and fear a little bit, because honestly, I think that if Yoshi P and the dev team, they pulled an 11 with 14. And they said 14 is still going to get small content updates, but we want to move on to a new project. If they were going to end 14, they were going to do it with Endwalker, but a game makes a lot of money, right? So I think it would be... Like, I think it... like, they're not obviously not going to, and they said they're not going to. They were very clear they're not going to. But if they said, okay, we're going to go from Final Fantasy 11 to Final Fantasy 14 to Final Fantasy 17, or Final Fantasy 20, and then make a new product. How the fuck do you play Mahjong? I don't know, ask the JP players, man. They fucking love it. Oh, like, are you saying, like, how do you actually play it in game? You literally just go to Gold Saucer. I would gladly have a whole new area over a game. Well, that's the thing, right? Is that, like, to end Final Fantasy 14 with a Final Fantasy with a bang, I'm okay with it. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I would have been really, like, anxious and nervous because it would have been like, okay, well, all my grinding was for nothing, right? But I kind of do wish... Okay, here's my hope for what they do with, after Endwalker. After Endwalker, I hope they just say, okay, we are fucking done with this storyline. We don't have to worry about it any fucking more. We're going to sequester, like, we're sort of like a better version of what they're doing for Burning Crusade Classic. We're going to sequester A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers and Endwalker into this one volume. I talked about this in a comment not too long ago. We're going to sequester this into one volume, right? And if you want to continue to go do those things, you can be in that volume. Or you can transfer your character, or even copy your character, to the next volume. And the next volume is... like, you essentially have one character that's trapped in Purgatory, where very few new things are going to be added to it. It's going to be Final Fantasy 11, essentially. And then you have Final Fantasy 14 Volume 2, right? And then they say, okay, you saw what we could do when when an idiot was in charge, and we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, and we were playing catch-up the whole time. Now you're going to see what we can do when we could just put total balls to the wall, pedal to the metal. Now you get to see what we can do when we don't have to worry about technical debt anymore. Right? It doesn't have to be new world, new characters. It doesn't really have to be any of those things. It can still be Eorzea. It can still be like the world of Hydaelyn. It can be that. Like, I'm okay with that. But the problem that I have is that, like, there's so many things that are reliant or are claimed to be reliant on yeah, A Realm Reborn, exactly. A Realm Reborn Rebirth, yeah. Like, the thing is though is that, like, A Realm Reborn was specifically 1.0 but good, right? It never had to be. A friend often says, German has a good saying, can I tell? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. There's so many things that people claim as technical debt. And as a result, the devs... I'm trying to phrase this in the best way possible. It's like... Man, I'm not even sure how to word it anymore. It's like... I want what's best for the game. I really do. It would lose from the translation? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's fine. I'll try and figure it out. Try and piece it together. Like, A Realm Reborn didn't ever have to be anything better than 1.0. If it was just not bad, that's all it ever had to be. The fact that A Realm Reborn was pretty good for the time, that should tell you everything you need to know. That should tell you something, right? It should tell you about sorry about that. It should tell you about the passion and the care that people have for this product. But a lot of sacrifices, a lot of corners were cut. A lot of sacrifices were made in order to make A Realm Reborn even happen in the first place. 2.5 years of crunch. You know, it was just a long process. So as a result, I think it's important to keep that in mind, right? But I think that there is an upper limit to the amount of things you can do with Final Fantasy XIV, the game, right? I think there's a limit to how good the game can get, right? Unless they update, the textures. It's kind of what we were expecting from Heavensward. That would be cutting loose and steamrolling ahead, and that very much didn't happen. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, and like Heavensward is very good. It's a very good expansion, and it's not even like, oh, it's good because it's different or there's no other like mitigating factor. It's just like unironically, objectively really fucking good. But you can see the age, the wear and tear on like the models and the systems. Like, there's just a lot of questionable, I feel as though unnecessary decision making that's happening. It's instead of like an ounce of prevention for a pound of cure, you're just getting a pound of cure, like always. So I feel like that's just always what we're getting, right? And I feel like that's just what we've been needing for the longest time, is a pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of cure. But at the end of the day, okay, here's how I'll phrase it. It's like if I made a sandwich, and instead of bologna, it's like I made like a nice sandwich, like a BLT, right? Instead of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, I used lead. Right? And then it's like, wow, this is inedible. I don't like this very much. Can you do better? It's like, I'd have to learn how to cook or get somebody who knows how to. All right, here we go. I'm not gonna make it. This other person's gonna make it, and then they make like a BLT with like low quality ingredients. And you're like, wow, this is actually a sandwich. Holy fuck, this is amazing. And then it's like, okay, well, you're getting better ingredients over time, but you're still making a BLT. There's an upper limit to how good that can be. You know, but if you want to be like a sandwich artist, if you really want to show, you know, flex your culinary chops, you have to stop making BLTs. You know what I mean? That's just it. An endless horror is worse than an end without horror. Yeah, honestly, I can agree with that. I'm staring at my current gear right now in the visible texture compression on the detail of this dress. Honestly, fuck, dude, look at fucking the pixel eggs arc. Like, it's so noticeable. And it's not even like that came out in what, 2019? Like, there's no excuse. Generally, chat, I hope you know this. If I ever have trouble trying to think of an analogy to try to compare something, I almost always try to equate it back to sandwiches because it's the easiest way for me to describe it. Work at Subway if you want to be a sando artist. I mean, less sandwich artist and more just like more culinarily minded, I guess. Like, let me phrase it like this, right? I get peaks of what Yoshi P can do. I get these glimpses into what he can do and what the dev team can do if they're given the proper amount of, you know, the proper amount of support and care, right? But they're not getting that level of care. Makes sense with your analogies, at least. I appreciate that. Ah, fuck. I keep punching my pop filter. I'm very sorry about that. Feel such an overcorrection to the graphical mistakes of 1.0. We have the hardware to handle it now, and they can still clean it up without going overboard. Just for the job position calls? Yeah, exactly. Like, I agree with you, Warhammer, 100%. Like, okay. If I look at my character, right? You can see some texture compression. That's because of, like, lighting. I don't expect it to be like 4K HDR. Like, I don't expect anything like that, right? That's not a problem. But like, you know, if I look at like my paladin, right? It looks pretty cool. The only problem is that, like, you can tell this Heavensward is this shield is a Heavensward era shield. So you can tell, like, this part right here looks like leather. This part right here looks like plastic. Whereas my armor actually looks like metal. Right? It actually looks like metal. It's just... it's the textures themselves that are a problem. Right? And I don't mean just from a texture perspective. I mean from a gameplay perspective as well. Like, the fact that it's like if I look at my ninja, right? 8 levels between these two abilities, nothing happening. 8 levels between these two abilities, nothing happening. And like 3 levels here, not a big deal. 5 levels here? 6 levels here? Why? Why do I get Shade Shift before I get, like, at level 2? Before I get Gust Slash? Why do I get Hide before I get Aeolian Edge? I don't get my combo ender. I don't even get a combo ender until I hit level 26, until I'm almost ninja. Oh yeah, well that's the thing. You know, Morgan, I'm not sure if you've seen this. There's actually a I'm putting on Bury the Light. Fuck it. So there was an interview that the dungeon design team did, because it's a team that designs dungeons, and they said, like, yeah, we were rushed, and like, it's not the developer, it's not the, you know, the higher ups fault, it's just the situation as it is. But we would absolutely love, they even said, to go back and redesign all those dungeons and actually make them interesting and make them cool and fun. The problem is, and I was going to say this earlier, the problem is that if in a live service game, it's all about money. And so if there's not like a new influx of cash, a new injection of money into the system and new players and all this shit, people aren't gonna like then their own higher ups are gonna be like, well, the game is failing and we're gonna have to shut it down because it's not making enough money. Like that's the biggest thing. So it's not like they can say like, okay, we're gonna take 6 months or a year and we're just gonna make the game really fucking good and then we're gonna proceed. Because that's what would make the most sense. The problem is, without any new content, the only thing that we're gonna be left with is old content. The fact that they even got the job done in the extremely short time frame is a miracle in itself. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is that like, I don't mean to like, when I say those dungeons are bad, I'm not saying that they were designed poorly, or that it was lazy. They did the best they could. The fact that they even made any at all is fucking sick. The fact that A Realm Reborn was even possible is a testament to how much people care about this product. Yeah, the only reason we have flying in ARR areas is because a group of devs in their own time reworked the areas to accommodate it. Exactly. And the thing is, they didn't even rework any of the areas. Not really. All they did was just do QA. They just walked against every surface and flew against every surface and checked to see if it caused crashes or exploits or whatever. They like. But what I'm sick of is when I say like ARR is bad. Yeah, no one was paying for that. They did it because they had the ability to. But when I say ARR is bad, or when I say certain dungeons in the ARR are bad, like when I say like Tamtara or Thousand Maws or Copperbell are bad and boring and not fun, people say, "Oh, well, you have to remember it was because of ARR." I'm aware it was because of ARR, and I'm thankful the fact that ARR was even able to happen. But at some point, we have to move forward and be able to look at it objectively and say, "Yeah, this is not fun." Like, again, back to a sandwich analogy. If I were making food for you, chat, if I was making food for you, and I was proud of it, and I'm like, oh man, I was really bad at cooking, but now I'm getting better. You'd feel grateful that I was getting better. But if I suddenly started serving you that same, if you had to go back in time and eat that, my second sandwich I've ever made, back to back to back, you'd be like, wow, this isn't very good. It doesn't matter how much I've improved in the future because that thing as it exists is bad. None of the fucking classes get combo enders till 26 and I'm fucking annoyed about it. Really? I'm not gonna look at Black Mage. Paladin's a bad example. Fastblade, Riot Blade. Oh my god, you're right. Why? What? Dragoon's pretty bad, but what the fuck? No, it's bad. Like Morgan, it's bad. I talked about this in a video, but like, those early dungeons, some of them are less bad than others, most of them are pretty bad. Sastasha, okay, but you know what? We're gonna run through the list. Sastasha, I don't think is bad. I think Sastasha's a perfect introductory dungeon. I think it's amazing. Tamtara, awful. Absolutely fucking awful. Do not like this dungeon. Copperbell Mines, more like Copper Hell. The quest is called, that you get this is literally called Into a Copper Hell. It's fucking awful. Halatali, I think it's pretty neat. I think it's a little weird, but it's neat. Thousand Maws, awful. Hawk Manor, great. Greyflux. Pretty okay. That's why I like grinding ARR relics was such a pain. Like 66 10 tower runs. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Trisha. Classes for Storm, but don't get there still fucking 50. Yeah, and that's exactly it, Jade. Like, okay, think about it like this. Imagine, like, the melee class we're going to be getting for Endwalker is not going to be getting any of its good shit until at least 60, if not 70. Because it's designed around playing at 70. If it's designed around playing at 70, why the fuck do we not have abilities unlocked? It's point ARR where when leveling Dragoon, you had a move that you could spam for slightly more damage than the 2 part of your combo. That's fucking crazy. Anyone who skipped ARR and has no clue why he tries to rescue this cat girl. Yeah. I mean, I skipped. I didn't like story skip until 2.2, I think. But I didn't pay attention in story until like Stormblood, and that's my bad. I came as a WoW refugee, like a WoW classic refugee. So I was like just trying to. I didn't realize that 14, like the story of 14 was its draw, and I thought I was just gonna be like, "You're a hero," like just generic anime bullshit, but it really wasn't. It's really good in places, and especially good in Heaven's Word and Stormblood and Shadowbringers. You would get up your damage buff and impulse drive endlessly. That's so cringe. Of all jobs through the dungeons, and it was narcoleptic because of the Black Mage kit. Dude, the Black Mage kit is so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. I literally can't think of another class that's worse in leveling than Black Mage. Maybe Paladin, but you're a tank, so it's not that bad. Or maybe Dancer or Red Mage, but like, again, those classes came later. You know what I mean? It's just... I don't mean to describe the story skip as a bad thing, but more as a funny story because I told them all. Yeah, exactly. I was too used to other RPGs where you're the main character except for when you are with the other Warriors of Light. Yeah, so like 14 tells a very sweeping story. It's no pressure if anybody hasn't watched the antagonists video that I did, but Shadowbringers especially was the story for me that really solidified like how good the story actually is in this game. Because I normally hate when a story says, you know, are your actions truly just? But that's not what Shadowbringers was saying at all. Shadowbringers was just saying, like, there is another side. And they're not going to listen to you, and you're not going to listen to them. The conclusion is going to be the same. No matter how much context we give you, there's only one way you're going to behave. You're a hero. You save the world. That's what you do. And from your perspective, this person is trying to doom the world. But from their perspective, they're trying to save the world, and you're trying to doom the world. And this isn't even like, I said this in the video, but it isn't even like a hero believes himself to be or villain believes himself to be the hero of his own story kind of thing. It has nothing to do with that. It was the fact that you couldn't ever look at like Emmett Selk, right? You couldn't look at Emmett Selk and be like, I fucking hate this guy. Because of his motives. You could be like, I don't like the way he looks, I don't like the way he acts, but like, you can't ever be like, oh, this guy's an asshole. He was campy, he was funny, he was lighthearted, but there were specific things that set him off. And they were always predictable once you saw it the first time. Arcanist has a rough rotation when you're leveling? Yeah. I mean, those classes are just kind of rough all the way down, to be honest. So many seemingly disparate parts and tied it all together. There's legitimate resolution to this BS with the Ascians we've had to deal with since day one. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't just, here's another Ascian for you to deal with. It was, this is a big bad, and there's a bunch of cool shit that you get to go do, right? Like, I talked about this in the antagonist video that I made, but, like, I'm trying to think of how I put it, but it was like, Ardbert taught us that an antagonist can be personal. Emmett Selk taught us that an antagonist doesn't have to change our course, but can make us think. And Elidibus taught us that an antagonist might be worthy of some empathy. It's literally the only story where the story is saying we do the same thing in your position, and I actually believed. Yes, exactly. Everyone here who has seen that cutscene, the Shadowbringers cutscene, where Emmett Selk says, you know, do you honestly believe that if the world was facing true annihilation, do you honestly believe that half your number would sacrifice themselves to save the other? And Alphino can't even look at him. Alphino literally can't even look at Emmett Selk because he knows he's right. I love them and understand all the time. We talk about the old ones that you hit a really painful spot. To me, Emmett Selk taught me that antagonists can be friends. Yeah, sort of. Like, the thing is that, like, people, when they hear antagonist, they think villain. Villain is a very specific category. An antagonist, like, I study writing, right? Like, I've studied it. And I love, you know, comparative literature and shit like that, right? In literature, an antagonist is just someone that opposes the protagonist. And the protagonist is just the person who has the most importance in the story. So we are the protagonist. Everybody else is either a deuteragonist or a tritagonist, right? Now, an antagonist, all they have to do is oppose you. That's all they have to do is just be like, me, I want to save the world. Someone else, I don't want you to save the world. I am now a protagonist, that person is now an antagonist. But the thing is that perspective is the thing that keeps that in line. Because if my idea of saving the world is by causing mass genocide and merging realities together and sacrificing the people that survive to reunite with my loved ones, now I'm a tragic protagonist, from my perspective. But from the perspective of a person whose world that I'm destroying, I am a sympathetic antagonist. And the thing is, Shadowbringers never had to answer any of those questions of, like, are you any better than him? What would you do if you were in the same position, right? Because the story loses nothing if you can't empathize with him. If you're like, oh, this guy's just an evil bastard and I want to kill him. Guess what? You still get the exact same enjoyment out of the story, right? You still get the exact same level of enjoyment throughout the entirety of Shadowbringers. But if you do empathize, you get so much more. Because I hated Elidibus from the moment that we were introduced to him. I fucking absolutely despised him. Okay? Trying to find a good song here. Here we go. Here's an MGR song. I absolutely despised Elidibus for a simple reason. That he was boring. He was just a generic. He's like Laha Brave. He's just a generic villain, and that's boring to me. But when you have that moment with him where he just says, "You who have murdered my brothers, who have taken our dreams of the one true world and scattered them to ash, I will do as I have always done. I will do as you have done, Warrior of Darkness. I will defend myself. I will grow and I will learn and hone my skills and make ready to vanquish my enemy." I said this in the antagonist video. It's not that Elidibus doesn't listen to you because he doesn't want to. He literally, the reason why he doesn't listen to you It's because those things are what got his Ascian comrades killed. That's it. Those are the things that got them killed in the end. Yeah, the writers wanted you to hate Elidibus. Like, exactly. 100%. Like, they wanted you to hate him. And that way they could pull that trick on you at the very, 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 very end, where he's hurt. He's the youngest member of the Ascians. Right, understanding brings empathy, exactly. Human GR has to be this way since with the conflict with Emmett nicely. Yeah, exactly. There was no other way it was going to be. Let's say Emmett Selk understood us. Listen is deadly. History proves it way too often. Yeah. Like, it didn't matter whether or not Emmett Selk was making the right decision. It was the decision that he had stuck himself on. It was easier to continue down a path that he'd already been on for so long and was so close to completing, even if it couldn't work, even if it was impossible, than it was for him to abandon thousands of years worth of suffering, of death, rebirth, reincarnation, possession, destruction, scheming, murder, violence, rage, sadness, and despair. It was easier to do that way, right? And the thing is, Ardbert abandoned his evil ways in Shadowbringer, or in Heavensward. But we were able to prove to him. We were able to prove to him that he was still a hero. And I talked about this in the video. We were able to prove that he was still a good person. Good people can do bad things. A good person isn't just a person who is... It's not just a person who does good. It's a person who is good and tries. And gives me mixed feelings because we go from all these great villains to a worshiper of nihilism, and it feels disappointing. But I also can't wait to actually kill Asahi. So, this is the last thing. I'm going to wrap the stream up in a little bit here. But here's the biggest thing, okay? Here's the biggest thing, right? I don't want them to make me sympathize with Fandaniel. We're probably going to get a couple flashbacks of him being depressed and sad. I don't want to sympathize with him. We just spent an entire expansion being baited. And the only, like, righteous villains that we could actually kill were Vothri/Innocence, Ranjit, and Titania, basically. And, like, the Light Wardens. That was it. That was it. But every other villain of that of the expansion always gave us, like, reason to doubt ourselves, right? We're now going towards the conclusion. We don't need that anymore. We know. The thing we learned in Shadowbringers was that what separates us from them is not just a matter of perspective. It's not a matter of, well, we're right because we, it's not might makes right. Like, it's specifically, we don't want to hurt anybody. We always try to take the path of most resistance. Like, Alphinaud's always the diplomat. Alize wants to kill things, but she doesn't want to kill unnecessarily. She doesn't want to hurt unnecessarily. None of us want, like, if there was a way we could have stopped Emmett Selk without killing him, we would have. That's it. Like, that's just the way it is. Like, but that's the thing, is that giving us an enemy... I want to talk to Fandaniel, I want to fucking keep him around as having an Ascian friend can help. Like, that's the thing, right? Is that, like, there's so many more interesting things that they can do to flesh out this character than try to make him sympathetic. Well, that's the thing, right? Is, well, Trisha, here's my question to you then, right? My question is, what's cool about this is, like, how do I want to phrase it? instead of having a character that we have to like add all this context for, he just gets to blow shit up. Like, he doesn't need to be deep or interesting. We don't need that anymore. And so my question to you is, what, don't you think it's going to be fun just to see how much shit he breaks and sets on fire? It's going to be less interesting if there's a reason behind it than it is for the fact that it's happening, right? And normally I say, oh well, actions occurring without reason is just white noise, right? And I normally believe that wholeheartedly. But at the end of the day, what's really cool about this is that these towers, we barely know fucking anything about them. We know enough about them to be afraid of them. But I'm excited. I'm so excited to see what happens because the rules are all out the window right now. It's like, oh, well, the Ascians can't do this because it would prevent a rejoining. The Ascians can't do this because it's going to cause problems for their ultimate goal. Now, we get to see what an Ascian can do when they're pissed off and off the leash. Context for him is the old guard is dead and he's letting loose the Hounds of War. Exactly. I almost want him to be more campy and out there and it felt restrained, I guess. I think they tried to pack too much into 5-5, but I'm really excited to see. And I think the thing is that we're going to see a lot of him in Endwalker. I think they're just throwing us a bone to nibble on. That's the biggest thing for me. So I'm really fucking excited. I am genuinely really excited for Endwalker to see what they do for him. But regardless, I want to thank all of you. Oh, real quick. Fandaniel has spent Lord knows how long under the endless bidding of his masters. Now he can cut loose, and we can get mad at his reckless want and destruction rather than sad at their tragedy. Exactly. Thank you, Warhammer, for actually wrapping that up in like a fantastic way. So, but I think I want to wrap up here. Still in the build-up, I think we can do a lot in Endwalker. Exactly. I want to thank everybody so much for watching and hanging out with me. We'll see if we end up doing a restream tomorrow, like a hype reaction kind of thing. I can't believe they did this. Shocked clickbait thumbnail. Oh my god, that weapon is so cool. What is that? But I want to thank you guys all very much for hanging out with me. I'm in a bit of a rough spot at the moment. And I might go on a bit of a hiatus. You might see some infrequent content, less high-produced content. I might stream a little bit more, but infrequently. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate it. So I hope you guys all have a really awesome day, or night, or evening, or wherever you guys are. No, that's not the right one. Stream ending. There we go. You know the Twitter handle. YouTube button. There we go. I'll see you later, everybody. Bye for now.